Come on. We will win. Because we will hit all game. We are motivated. We are dedicated. Come on now. Come on now. We will win. Because we are the best on the field. And we hit the field light, all day light, all night light, on the blue light, offense light, defense light, his squad light, house call light, and a sound light, and a sound light, and a sound light.
Yeah.
It's official. It's official. It's official.
Combine season is upon us.
I'ma do this here forever.
EQ.
Forever.
Try it.
Forever. Forever. I'ma do this here forever. All you haters better be coming. This the day you've been waiting on.
Welcome to the Short Sports Show. I'm your host, Daniel Short. Today is April 6, 2016, and we've got an exciting show. We got a lot of news to talk about: college football news, NFL, NBA basketball, getting ready for the playoffs. We got baseball finally. We get to talk about just a bunch of different things we are going to be able to talk about. We got an amazing topic as well involving football and parenting and concussions. Just a quick summary of something that I wanted to talk about. We've talked about it in the past, but decided to put all this this kind of little thing together that'll be great for the show. So be sure to stay tuned for that. The intro you guys just heard is from Triune featuring EQ. It is called Forever. You can buy it on iTunes right now. Links are in the description down below. An amazing song by those guys. They also have a song called Game Winner, which is kind of ironic that they have that song. And guess what happened in the national championship on Monday night? Game Winner. Obviously, you guys have it's Wednesday now, so we've been able to hear about the game. We've got different people's reactions to it, and a lot of it's been the same. Just how Marcus Page had probably the biggest shot in college basketball history completely erased and just forgotten about in less than 5 seconds when Kris Jenkins hits the three to win the game for Villanova. We're going to talk about that here in a bit later. An amazing game. Goes all the way down to the wire, and that's what was exciting. The whole game was close to start, from beginning to the middle to the end. It was just a close game all the way through, thankfully, because I was afraid. Because really, if you look at the past years of March Madness and the tournament, it really hasn't been that close nor that fun to really watch. There's been a few games here and there. Don't get me wrong. There's been a few games, but it's usually been kind of one-sided or mostly predictable. This year, we had a few teams, and every game seemed like it was just close, other than the Villanova-Oklahoma game. Other than that, majority of the games that were highly anticipated, or even some of just the interesting ones, the little head-scratcher ones, were all close. And it was very exciting to watch. Everybody had a chance to watch an amazing game this year, and I feel like this has been one of the best years that we've had in a very long time. Not the best, but one of the best years of NCAA tournaments that we've had in a very, very long time. And it's sad that it came to a close. We're about to hit a very dull moment in sports right now, other than having baseball and a little bit of the playoffs almost starting. But for football-wise, it's getting boring. College, there's nothing in college anymore. We got college baseball. That's fun. TCU's doing pretty well. I'm okay with that. Other than that, that's about it. But anyways, like I said, we got some college football news to talk about, and we'll go ahead and start off with that. But before we do, be sure to follow me on Twitter at Short Sports Show, and become a fan on Facebook, The Short Sports Show. Links are in the description down below. You already know, no matter where you're listening to. Oh, actually, I do want to start off with a quick story. So, let me know what you guys think. I was been thinking about starting to do this, and I've never had a nickname, right? I've never had a nickname. There's not a lot you can have with Daniel. I mean, of course, if your middle name starts with the J, then you can have DJ as a nickname. If you are a DJ, you can just have DJ. I've just never had one. Just nothing. Just never popped up. But for some weird reason, I asked my girlfriend, I was like, man, I told her everything I just said right now. And I was like, I wish I just had a nickname. It was just a random conversation, random little thing I said. And she's like, well, what about DC? I was like, DC? Hey, it's not bad. My middle name starts with a C, and I've never thought about it. I like the name. I might just rock with it from now on. So if I actually meant to start with it already with this show, saying, hey, it's DC. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a little intro with the name. Let me know what you guys think. You probably don't care. That's fine. But I like it, and I got some excitement out of it because I was like, I found a nickname. It's awesome. It's awesome. I like it. I think DC sounds good. I think it does. Now, it's not going to be like DJ DC. I'm not going to go all crazy here. But I think it's a pretty cool nickname, and I might just start rocking with it in the show and the future show. So don't be alarmed like, who's DC? What happened to Daniel? They sound the same, but what? Just so you know. All right. Let's move on to stuff that you actually wanted to hear and what you actually came for, college football news and so on and so forth. So we got Notre Dame Fighting Irish cornerback Nick Watkins, who will miss the final 2 weeks of spring practice after undergoing surgery for a broken left arm. Now, he played 12 games last year and finished with 8 tackles. And as a freshman in 2014, he played primarily on special teams. So looking to make an impact here. Obviously, Kivir Russell, he's gone to the NFL draft. A few of the other DBs are gone. Needed a little bit more depth there, and now they've just lost one. Now he's only, again, out for the spring practice. Who knows, broken left arm, how much time it's going to take him to heal? Will he be ready for Texas opening week? Or is it going to be a little bit longer? But hopefully he is able to play for Notre Dame. So they need some depth at that secondary position. Now, on last Friday, Maryland's defensive coordinator, Scott Schaefer, stepped down as a defensive coordinator. He said for, allergies, personal reasons, family reasons, issues, that he was going to just step down. Very bad timing, of course, because they started spring practice on March 16th, I believe. And they have a spring game here in just a bit. And it was just very bad timing, of course, to lose a defensive coordinator and just a brand new coaching staff already. He was just hired in December. And boom, I gotta quit right now. I have to. So it left Maryland in a little bit of a scramble. There's not obviously a whole lot of coaches out there that you can just say, hey, how about you come join us? Like usually the coaching carousel begins, into the season and then, like before January, in mid-January. Now it was a scramble. A little bit of thought was like, all right, well, DJ Durkin, who's a new head coach at Maryland, he was the defensive coordinator at Michigan. So, maybe he could just take over. He'll just be head coach and a defensive coordinator. It's going to be a lot of work the first year, but he'll just do that. Not the case. Not the case. Yesterday, Maryland hired Andy Buh. Yeah, Buh. That's his last name, Buh. As his defensive coordinator on Tuesday. Now, he has been the linebackers coach at Kentucky since last season. He's also been a defensive coordinator at Cal in 2013 and Nevada from 2010 to 2011. He was also the co-defensive coordinator at Stanford from 2008 to 2009. And he last worked in the Big Ten as Wisconsin's linebackers coach in 2012. So he's been a little bit of everywhere from 2008 to last season, or until Kentucky. Last season. So, is this a really good move? You can't really knock him because, again, there's not a whole lot of coaches. You don't have all right, well, let me see. Let me look at all these guys. Oh, okay, let's get him. It's hey, do you want to come coach? And it's just a quick thing. So already rebuilding program takes a little bit of a loss here. Is it going to be better for them? Who knows? Is it going to be worse? Again, who knows? Just a very bad timing, and we'll just have to see what goes from there. Now, Ohio State quarterback and 2006 Heisman Trophy winner Troy Smith decided to announce that he got a degree in bachelor's. I've never heard of that. That's an awesome degree that you can get apparently at Ohio State. He was arrested on Sunday of charges for driving under the influence and marijuana possession. Now, he just was a little bit drunk. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. He got a degree in bachelor's, and he just told the officer that I'm from Ohio. I played at Ohio State. That apparently used to get him out of trouble a long time ago, but not so much. Not so much. And I played for Ohio State under Jim Tressel, of course, from 2003 to 2006. He spent 4 years in the NFL from 07 to 10, playing for the Baltimore Ravens and the San Francisco 49ers. He was charged with operating a vehicle under the influence, possession of marijuana, and improper display of a license plate. Troy Smith. Good job. Texas Longhorns quarterback Gerard Hurd, obviously in a competition for the starting quarterback at Texas, has been diagnosed with a minor right shoulder pain. I can't talk. Sprain. The school announced on Thursday. Now, there's been talk. Well, it's not that major, but now it's like, okay, well, need to take it easy here. Now, obviously, he's competing with senior quarterback Tyrone Swoops and freshman Shane Buechele for starting job next season with new coordinator Sterling Gilbert's in his offense. So I don't think there's really a favorite right now. The spring game didn't really do anything for them to announce a starting quarterback like Charlie Strong hoped. But it's Texas. They're all sorts of trouble right now. Now, Hurd started 10 games for the Longhorns in 2015, passing for 1,200 yards and 5 touchdowns, while also rushing for 556 and 3 scores. And he started the final game of the season with the upset win on the road over number 12 Baylor. But then after Hurd suffered a concussion in a loss to Texas Tech, that was afterwards. So, I kind of like Gerard Hurd a little bit. I just don't think he's shown that he could just stand in the pocket and just ready to, he's got a lot of Colin Kaepernick in him, the way he looks, the way he throws, the way he's kind of in the pocket when he's a little bit before he runs. And sometimes when he runs, he kind of looks like him. If he could just get the throwing down and just being able to read the field properly, diagnose the defense, and go through his progressions, then Gerard Hurd, he could be a pretty solid quarterback. Tyrone Swoops, who knows with him if he's able to. It looks like he's matured. It's just I don't know if he's matured on the football field and being able to do the same things I just said about Gerard Hurd. Shane, we still don't know too much about him other than what he did in high school, and so he could always push in for the lead. But Texas better solve it soon because he got. Thankfully, they got a home game to open up the season, but it is against Notre Dame, and that's not going to be an easy task. Last bit of college football news, something I want to discuss, and I don't feel like this is right. I don't feel like this is right at all, and that's with new Georgia Bulldogs head coach Kirby Smart. Now, he continues to stand by his decision to place transfer restrictions on running back A.J. Thurman. Now, this is really on everybody, not just Thurman. The junior transfer was announced in mid-March, but Thurman told the Atlanta Journal-Constitution that he was only allowed to transfer to schools in his home state of Florida, but not the Florida Gators or the Miami Hurricanes, where former head coach of Georgia, Mark Rich, is now out at Miami. Smart later revised his original restrictions, allowing Thurman to transfer to any schools outside the state of Florida except Georgia Tech and other SEC schools. The Hurricanes and the Gators are still not available for him to transfer to. Now, under Mark Rich, players were allowed to transfer from Florida without restrictions, meaning they could go wherever they wanted to. And, that's kind of, I understand the restrictions between in-conference teams and potentially other teams you've already have scheduled for. In the next, sometimes it's like 1 to 2 years. I think I may have seen 3 years at the max before. That's usually kind of, given. But to deny this running back to go and join Miami, where Georgia doesn't play them at all in the next 2 to 3 years, at least right now, they haven't scheduled them. That's just wrong. It's wrong. And again, he's already a junior, so if he transfers there, he'll have to sit out a year, and then because of the new rule, he'll have 2 more years to go. But it's just not a good thing, because this is what Smart told reporters, that restrictions he created were to eliminate an immediate path for players to rejoin Rich in Miami. So he's basically saying, look, if you love Mark Rich and you still want to play for him, I'm sorry, I'm holding you hostage. You are not allowed to transfer over there. You're not. He said, quote, I wanted to set a precedent for the future that kids will not be able to go to Miami right away. It's very important that we understand that. And that's pretty much standard operating procedure when a coach leaves one place. They can't go there with a coach. That's important to me that people understand that, end quote. That I don't feel like that's right at all. I don't feel like that's right at all. I understand if you are going to play them in the next 2 to 3 years, especially if that player is like a freshman or sophomore who's going to be there for, several more years, then it's like, okay, look, we're going to end up playing you again. We're not going to have it. You can transfer anywhere else, but other than our conference foes and anybody that's in our future schedule that's already been created for the next 2 to 3 years. And that's it. And anywhere else, you can go. That is fine. I'm okay with those type of restrictions. I understand it from a coaching standpoint that you don't want to have to play that player. You don't want him to give away what you've got and what he's learned about the program so far. But for you to deny a player who wants to join his former coach to a team that you will not play the next 2 to 3 years is wrong, and it's ridiculous, because you got to think about it. Players, we could go on and open this discussion to so many different things about, how players are, not able to do this, not able to do that. They only get this, and that should be the only thing. Especially like they shouldn't get paid because they got a scholarship-free education. Well, there's this and this and that. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just saying it opens up a lot of discussions, because why allow a coach to be able to take a job from Alabama to Georgia, someone you are going to play several times? Why be able to allow that, but you can't allow a player who you won't even play to transfer to that school? It's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. And he's like, okay, well, I'm worried about losing too many players. It's Georgia. There's plenty of players that want to stay. There's plenty of players that want to play at Georgia. There's plenty of players that want to play for Kirby Smart. That's not a problem. But for you to deny a kid who is from the state of Florida, loves Coach Rich, and wants to play for him to go to Miami, a team, again, and I can't emphasize this enough, because it needs to be, because you're not going to play them. And you are denying him that right to go get a education at the University of Miami, finish his degree, and play for Miami, again, a team you will not play while he's in college. It's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. It's stupid. It's ridiculous that Kirby Smart would place this restriction on him when you're not going to play them. And again, I want to get it clear that I understand there's restrictions for players that you are potentially going to play. Again, so you don't allow them to transfer to any SEC school. That knocks off Florida. Got it. Fine. Cool. And any team that you're going to play the next 2 to 3 years. Miami's not on schedule to play Georgia in the next 2 to 3 years. That is left for A.J. Thurman to even play anyways. So, bam. There you go. Why not let him play? It's wrong. Let me know what you guys have to say about that on Twitter at Short Sports Show, and on Facebook, The Short Sports Show. It's just stupid. It's very, very stupid for that to happen. San Francisco, or moving on to the NFL, sorry about that. San Francisco and the Denver Broncos have perimeters in agreement in principle on a trade for Colin Kaepernick, but it's not going to happen anymore, at least right now. Now, of course, the Kaepernick and the Broncos have agreed, or can't really agree, who will pay the quarterbacks $11.9 million guaranteed salary for the 2016 year. Now, the Broncos, they're willing to pay $7 million, But Denver and Kaepernick would like San Francisco to pay the remaining 4.9. Now, obviously, if you're the 49ers, you're like, no, I'm not going to pay basically $5 million for a guy that's not even going to play for our team. Not going to happen. No, not doing it. Now, obviously, Kaepernick, he's playing it smart, saying, look, I'm not giving up any of this money. You're going to have to throw something sweet at me because I am not giving away. I'm not forfeiting the $4.9 million to make this trade work. Now, there's been sources have confirmed that the Broncos and Kaepernick have agreed on the rest of the contract to through the year of 2020. That's when the rest of the contract. That's when the contract ends. That he's cool with everything else, but he wants his $11.9 million. And for Kaepernick, if you're in his position, thinking about, well, I might not be playing that much longer. Who knows about my talent anymore? I've struggled the past few years. This is likely the last big money contract I'm ever going to get. I'm going to cash in. Yes, sir. Here, punch in my tickets. I am cashing in. This is mine, and I'm not giving it up because somebody's going to pay me. Somebody's going to pay me my $11.9 million guaranteed salary, whether I play or sit my ass on the bench. That's what's just going to happen. And he's going with the flow because when the trade did not go through on before Monday, the 49ers had an offseason voluntary workout program, and Kaepernick has a workout bonus of that of $400,000 for being there for 90% of the time. You damn right I'm going to work out. Don't care what the workout is. For only 90% of my time. Once that 90% comes up, I'll go 91 just to make it sure. And I'm going to get my $400,000 extra. Extra. Plus my $11.9 million. And you ain't going to do nothing about it. Because somebody's going to pay me. So the 49ers already had to pay him $400,000. It happened. He was there. 90%. Bam. Got his money. Now, Kaepernick and the Broncos, again, he met with John Elway twice to work something out. And they said that they made progress. And that they, again, got the contract through 2020. Everything else is clear, but 2016 is the only obstacle. And they are not going to give up the money. Kaepernick isn't. And so it makes you think, who is really on the who has the upper hand? The 49ers or the Denver Broncos? And really, I was talking to my dad about this, and I really don't think neither team has the upper hand. Because if you look at it, and let me know what you guys think at Short Sports Show. 49ers, they are going, if they keep him, they're going to have to pay the $11.9 million for a guy that might potentially sit on the bench for the rest of the season. Or for a majority of the time. They're going to have to pay $11.9 million. And then if you look at the Broncos side, well, you're going to have to trade potential draft picks. You don't have a whole lot of money to spend, so you might not be able to get him anyways with again, that $4.9 million. They're already willing to pay $7 million. And now you still don't have a quarterback. You got Mark Sanchez. You got Trevor Simon or Sidman or whatever his name is. I had Dak Prescott come visit them. Maybe they pick a quarterback in the draft. I don't know. I don't think either team has the upper hand. San Francisco likes to play like they have the upper hand, but are you really comfortable paying $11.9 million to a backup quarterback? I mean, I'm just saying. I don't know. Would you like to have those draft picks instead? Would you, and if you look at it, for 49ers, you got to think, all right, we pay $11.9 million for this guy who most likely might sit on the bench for us. And we could think about, whether we should draft Paxton Lynch or any of the other quarterbacks that are available when they come up for their draft picks. If we draft a quarterback, do we just pay the $4.9 million and possibly still draft a quarterback, or don't draft a quarterback? I think they will if they give up Colin Kaepernick. They'll draft a quarterback at some point, whether it's in the first round or it's the last pick. They're gonna draft one, but it's like, all right, we keep him, potential backup quarterback, $11.9 million. We give him away, we pay $4.9 million, and get another potential backup quarterback or even a starter. You don't know. And you get some draft picks out of it. Maybe that's where the Denver looks like, okay, maybe they got the upper hand. I don't know. We'll have to see with Colin Kaepernick and his situation, but he's got to be like, I'm getting paid. I don't care who is going to give me the moolah. That's where he's at right now. So there's a question. Everybody has at least watched the movie Moneyball. If you're a baseball fan, you watch Moneyball. If you're a sports fan in general, or you just like a good movie, you watch Moneyball. If you haven't, what are you doing with your life? Go watch Moneyball. It's a great movie. It inspires you. It's a great movie. Now, Dante Whitner, he says there's a little bit of Moneyball happening with the Cleveland Browns. Now, they did hire the New York Mets baseball of operations or something like that. They hired some guy from the front office management of the New York Mets to become a front office man for the Cleveland Browns. So maybe there is a little bit of Moneyball going around. And that's what Dante Whitner believes. Now, Whitner, he became the latest and the 7th starter to leave the Browns since the 2015 season ended. Ladies and gentlemen, it ended, well, for Cleveland, it ended a long time ago, but for the end of the 2015 season, it ended in, March. Officially, the new league year started in March. So it hasn't been that long, and they've already lost 7 starters. That's Whitner, Dante Whitner, the safety, inside linebacker Carlos Dansby, offensive tackle Michael Schwartz, receiver Travis Benjamin, safety Deshaun Gibson, inside linebacker Craig Robertson, and center Alex Mack, all left, free agents or released. Bam. 7 starters gone. Both safeties, an offensive tackle, 2 linebackers, receiver. Ouch. Ouch. Now, they're going to have to replace him, of course, and Whitner, he's getting a little up there in age. A little up there. He's 30 years old. Now, Reggie Nelson, he's 32, I believe, and he might sign with the Raiders or sign somewhere. He did visit the Raiders, so, maybe Whitner has a spot somewhere still. But, man, if the Browns are playing some Moneyball here, they better do it successfully because it's been tough for them. It's been tough. Now, I bought an Amazon Kindle. I've been reading a lot more than I used to. Honestly, guys, I've never read, and that's why I struggle at speaking sometimes. I've never really read that much, and I've started reading a lot more. I've got a book called Mind Gym. I highly recommend it to everybody, whether if you just love sports in general, it's a great book. It's positive reinforcement. It's just a great book, Mind Gym by Gary Mack. It's it's an easy book to read, and it's a great book. It's only about 220 pages, 24 pages or so. And a great book, talks about his time as a sports psychologist and how he worked with the Arizona Cardinals, worked with a few baseball teams, and a few other people. And it's just an awesome book. Read that. As well as I also picked up a few other books on NFL that I'll talk about some other time. But anyways, I forgot where I was going with the point about this. But Moneyball happening in the NFL with the Cleveland Browns. I actually had a point to make, and it just passed me after I was talking about books. I don't know what. Anyways, moving on. We have the Seattle Seahawks. They have re-signed Kris Clemons. He was there from 2000 and, oh my God, where'd I have it? Oh yeah, 2010 to 2013. He piled up 38 sacks in those 4 years, and then they released him, and he ended up going with the Jacksonville Jaguars to join Gus Bradley, and he had 11 sacks in the past 2 years with the Jaguars. Now he's coming back, and I've liked him. In his career, he has 69 sacks, 276 tackles, 18 forced fumbles, and seven fumble recoveries in 11 seasons with 5 teams. Now, he could back up Cliff Averill on the Leo spot, the left end spot, or he could take the right end spot now that Bruce Irvin is gone. But obviously they have Frank Clark, who looks like he can be the next guy up for that spot. But if not, Kris can obviously teach him, could be a great leader for him. The news I wanted to talk about, let me write this down so I can get the time. Okay. 40. All right. Hopefully we got that there. All right, sorry, I had to write that down for the video. Something I wanted to talk about was Tennessee Titans linebacker Wesley Woodyard was at the annual NFL Players Associated meeting 2 weeks ago and brought up an interesting point about kids playing football after the NFL publicly acknowledged that there was a link between CTE, and football. I think everybody know when I said S, I think we all knew where I was going. Sorry. It's a great topic to talk about, and a very interesting topic that I want to hear what you guys have to say on YouTube on the comment section. It's basically, would you allow your kids to play football before middle school? Basically, playing the CFPO, playing the Pee Wee football, whatever they call it in your area. The Little League, if you guys have seen Friday Night Tykes, which is about the San Antonio Youth Football League, which is a fun show to watch. I watch it. I watch all 3 seasons now. I love it. But I would never let my kid play youth football until he's up in middle school and even possibly high school. Now, before you answer it, what I want you to do is actually in the comments section, or if you're listening on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spreaker, Stitcher Radio, you can tweet me at Short Sports Show and just put your answer, just yes or no. Then put a comma, space, and then I want you to answer afterwards, after you've heard all of this. Might change your mind. It might not. But it's something to think about. Now, again, Tennessee Titans linebacker Wesley Woodyard, he said this, quote, "In the back of my mind, I've always had the question of whether football would be one of the sports I'd let my son play because of the safety issue. Definitely with all the new information coming out about CTE, is cause for concern for parents. We're taking the right strides as far as keeping the game safe. Safety is definitely going to be always number one. If my son wants to play, it'll be his decision. But I'm definitely going to make sure he doesn't play until he's maybe 12 years old. I started at 6, and I'm definitely not going to allow him to play at that age. Throughout the years, you just continue to build up and pound your body, and bad stuff ends up happening from that," end quote. True. You think about it, kids that age, they're a sponge. They really are. They're soaking up knowledge. They're soaking up all these different sites and things and everything. And for them to take a hit in football multiple times in practice, and some of the practices and some of the coaches really are questionable on why they even got a certificate to even coach. It's incredible. Like recently, I'll tell you this, and it shows you the ego of some of these youth football coaches. I was at just this past weekend? This past weekend on, I believe, Saturday, I was at a football camp for San Diego Chargers cornerback, I was going to say Daryl Morris, Craig Mager, who's a former Texas State alum, and Joe Blue Bartu, who's a linebacker for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Daryl Morris was also there. He's a Houston Texans cornerback. They had a youth football camp. And that was the first session we take pictures for, and I could only attend that one. They also had another session later in the afternoon for kids in high school and stuff like that. But the youth one, and there was probably about 6 or 7 kids there for that camp alone. Then on a few other fields, there was several teams for youth football teams. And I was thinking, okay, maybe they're practicing, then I'll come right over and learn from these guys. If I'm a coach of a youth football program, excuse me, I just spit everywhere, I would say, hey, look, there's a camp here with 3 NFL football players, and there's another guy, I guess his family friend, who he knew what he was talking about. He played football. I don't think he played in the NFL, but he was helping coaching up these kids. I want them to go learn from them. Guys that have NFL experience, young rising stars, I want them to go learn from them. Those coaches did not bring their players to that camp. Instead, those coaches believed they knew more about teaching football than 3 NFL football players. It's shocking, the ego. And it kind of goes in with should you allow your kids to play youth football? Because some of these coaches, they don't know what they're talking about. I don't know how majority of them have got their certificate from USA Football to coach. When you hear what they say, you hear what they tell their players, And specifically, I have a certificate to coach youth football, and I almost did while I was in Seattle. It was right before I moved. I was about to join a team to coach. And it specifically says what not to say, how to say things. And, you know, knowing psychology, I've been a huge fan of sports psychology. I've read on it. And you know what to say by now. What's common sense. And these coaches, what they say and what they teach and stuff like that, it's incredible how bad they are. And I was just thinking, I was like, do these coaches have that big of an ego where they think they know more and can coach more to these other kids than 3 NFL players? It's crazy. It's crazy because none of those kids ended up going over there. I mean, that's lack of knowledge, huge ego that needs to be demolished very, very quickly, and stupidity. Why wouldn't you give those kids a chance to go learn from 3 NFL players? Blows my mind. So go back to this point that I was making. Now, it was very popular. They did a little vote at that meeting. It was 2 weeks ago. If they would allow their children to play football. And a lot of them said no. I mean, they did point out the positives. Don't get me wrong. You learn a lot when you're playing sports at youth. You learn the importance of teamwork, hard work, and discipline. And are able to create wealth with your families once you get up there and the potential of learning the game throughout your young career, and then being able to make money once you go to the NFL, getting better at that. But they were concerned about the physical and emotional consequences that are linked to playing contact football at the age. And, you know, especially, again, they are a sponge. Their brains, their bodies, social skills, everything can really be affected in youth football, in youth sports. Now, Ravens tight end Ben Watson said, quote, excuse me, I played 1 year of Little League when I was 10 or 12 years old. My dad was a coach. After that, I didn't play again until 9th grade. My father felt I should wait a while and be more well-rounded. I played soccer, baseball, track, things other than football. My dad wanted our bodies to be formed as much as possible before we started playing a contact sport. Now, Watson and his wife, Kristen, have already had that conversation of whether they should allow their kids. Now, Watson, he has their 2 sons, age 4 and 3, and he's not going to have them play contact football until they're much older, saying, quote, we don't have an age minimum for our boys, but I think we'll wait until at least middle school or maybe even high school. It's not set in stone, but I don't think we are going to go to the Little League route. Excuse me, I'm stuttering all of this. We're going to have them well-rounded in sports and the arts. Then, if they still want to play once they're a little bit older, we'll allow them to, end quote. And for other people, I want to get a lot of quotes in this from major players. Packers Pro Bowl wide receiver Jordy Nelson. He has sons ages 6 and 14 months. Obviously, the 14-month ain't going to play for a while. He said he has no problem with the idea of them playing football, but not until they reach middle school, which is very popular. A lot of people are starting to see this now. He began playing contact football at that age, and doesn't feel like it hindered his potential or his ability to reach his athletic potential. He believes so strongly the other way that he's among a growing group of parents who supports flag football, not contact, for preteens. Quote, it's one of the ways to learn the fundamentals and technique of playing contact football and doing everything right without the contact. People think about poor tackling being an issue in contact football. Everyone wants to fix the tackling. Well, tackling in contact football all involves hitting each other and hitting your head on the ground, which means more trauma to the brain. But in flag football, obviously you don't want that, but you teach your kids to break down, keep your head up, be on balance. Try to get them to pull a flag from someone's hips. It's something that's going to take being in full control of your body and knowing what your body is doing and telling it what to do, instead of being the bigger kid who can fly around and blow somebody up because you're bigger and faster than they are. End quote. A lot of truth to that statement, and I love it. A couple other things here to wrap it up. Defensive lineman Aaron Kampman, who spent 8 years with the Packers and 2 with the Jaguars before retiring after the 2011 season, said, quote, it's a violent game. It's very important in football that we make sure that we're teaching the proper technical aspects of the game. This needs to happen with proper coaching and also kids who have a physical maturity to handle the proper techniques. Now, he cringes at the focus of having kids pick a sport and specializing in it at a young age. He even fights against specializations in flag football, rotating kids so that they have an opportunity to play every position on there. D-line, linebackers, DBs, offensive line, receivers, running back, quarterback. Football is such a hierarchy sport. Joe Herman speaks to how we identify ourselves as men. He said, boys grow up with the 3 Bs. The first thing they do to identify themselves is on the ball field, at recess, and on the field. Then it's in the bedroom when you're in high school and college. Then when you're older, it's a billfold. In my estimation, that's a very sad representation of what it means to be a man. So what we're trying to do in changing the culture is not say that if you're a big, strong football player, it makes you a man. Whether you can knock someone down and stand over them, that's not what makes you a man. But I see that being portrayed all the way down to young and even high school, and that's not the right way to do it. Absolutely be fierce between the whistle. You hit and you hit hard. We should be known by the way we play, but not in a way that makes you feel like you're identifying yourself because of that, end quote. So, again, after hearing all of that and thinking about it, letting it absorb in your brain, would you allow your kids, if they wanted to, play football before middle school? In youth football, would you allow them to play, or would you wait until they're in middle school? Would you even wait until they're in high school as a freshman to then start playing contact football? That's all it is. Now, again, I don't have any kids, but if I am able to, and if I do have a son, and he does want to play football, he will not play until at the very earliest would be middle school and possibly high school. Right now, I'm okay with middle school, but I could be easily swayed to wait until high school, till freshman year, because it's not like everybody has played, in youth and in middle school. There's a lot of people that don't even start until high school and still become successful, or at least still have fun with it. It doesn't mean you just have to wait then and then. It hurts your chances of getting a college scholarship or whatever. As long as you're enjoying it and you love the game, and if you love it more when you're in high school before you're in middle school, why take the pounding then when you can just work out, train, become explosive then, just begin working out your muscles, and then when you get to high school, go from there and play contact. It's not a bad thing. That's what I would do. Let me know in the comment sections down below. And as always, follow me on Twitter at Short Sports Show. Become a fan on Facebook, The Short Sports Show. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think and what you would do in allowing your sons to play football at an early age. Let me know. Excuse me. So Twitter won the bidding for the digital streaming rights to the NFL's Thursday night game. Commissioner Roger Goodell announced Tuesday morning that the league offered a package to a host of companies, including Facebook, Amazon, and Verizon, which is in his last year of sponsorship deal with the NFL that pays the league $250 million a year. Terms of the deal with Twitter were not disclosed. The league made a point of saying games will be free and that the viewers do not have to be registered Twitter users. The rights package also includes in-game highlights of Thursday games and pre-game Periscope broadcast from players and teams, which is going to be pretty interesting how they do that and pretty exciting as well. I like it. I think it's going to be kind of fun. Now, Twitter has all 10 Thursday night games, which is going to be really interesting. It's going to be interesting how user-friendly the layout's going to be once the game's on, how they're going to have the screen of the game, and then how you can tweet and interact with other people, and how that all goes into play. Going to be exciting. Obviously, Twitter's been working on it for a while and going to really ramp it up now that they got the deal done. You guys like it with Twitter? How many of y'all are Twitter users? I would hope y'all like it on Twitter. I would love it. It's going to be fun. I'm not going to just... honestly, when I have computer screens. I watch everything off my computer, off my desktop. And I have a couple other laptops and tablets that, you know, if I'm doing schoolwork or I'm doing some other work, editing videos, whatever it is, you know, I'll watch something else on my laptop or on my tablet. But I do not have a TV. I do not have, I mean, I guess I have a cable subscription because I'm able to watch, you know, ESPN and a few other, you know, the network shows that you can get, but you stream them off your computer. That's what I do. So is it going to be a big deal to me watching it off Twitter? No, because I watch it on my computer screen already. I mean, I don't have a small screen, so thankfully, you know, that's not a problem. It's not like I'm watching off some small 12-inch screen, but I don't think I like it. I like how it is. I like how it is. I think it's going to be fine with Twitter. The Browns released, stay with me here, cornerback Ifo Empre Alumo. I'm pretty sure I screwed up that entire name, but if you remember, he played at Oregon. He was a standout cornerback, probably going to be one of the top. He was going to be one of the top cornerbacks taken in that draft a few years ago, or actually just a year ago, excuse me. But he tore his ACL in practice for Oregon's bowl game, right at the end of the year, right at his last game. Tore his ACL, and the Browns, they drafted him. They said, hey, look, and I believe 7th round pick, you're going to spend this whole year rehabbing, resting, and training, understanding the game from the sideline, and see where we can go from there. But it's a little scary, whether his knee's not fully there or the Browns, again, are just playing the Moneyball thing, and they just don't want him anymore. They released him. They cut him off, or they put him on waivers. The Miami Dolphins did pick him up. So thankfully, a team did pick him up and give him a chance. I actually would have given him a chance. He had so much talent. And for the Browns to cut him, who knows? It's worrisome that maybe his knee's not all the way there, but I'm thinking since the Dolphins picked him up, maybe it's not the injury. Maybe it's not the injury. That's what I was thinking before someone picked him up when I heard about this. But thankfully, someone picked him up. Miami Dolphins signed him off waivers. So hopefully he can be just come back and actually play, make some plays, because he was really good. Oakland Raiders, they re-signed Aldon Smith, a 2-year deal. He's going to be suspended for the entire 2015 season. But they said, hey, we're going to keep you. He had 3.5 sacks in just 9 games with 7 starts last season. Let's see what else we got here. The Denver Broncos say they are aware of the video that shows defensive end Derek Wolfe throwing a punch in the Denver nightclub Saturday night. Now, before people get all worried and thinking, what's going on here? The police were not called about the incident. And the thing, it started with the videos on TMZ, and I'm not going to put it up because they keep copywriting my stuff, and I'm not about to get copyrighted on my show. It was Wolf. He had a verbal exchange with one or more persons. Then it followed by with some pushing and shoving in a group, and then Wolf throws a right-handed punch into the crowd. Now, he was later bloodied in the altercation after being hit with an object, possibly a bottle, from the back of his head. Now, Broncos spokesman Patrick Smith said in a statement Tuesday morning, quote, Derek talked to us on Monday about the issue and has been addressed internally, end quote. His agent said, quote, he did not provoke the fight. He was trying to protect a friend. His recollection is that he was hit from the back with an object when he wasn't looking, end quote. And the NFL told the Denver Post that the Wolf is unlikely to face discipline from the league. So hopefully he was just doing something good. The last bit of NFL news here is defensive end Greg Hardy, who remains unsigned in free agency, denied Monday during a one-on-one interview with ESPN's Adam Schefter that he ever hit a woman. Hardy was discussing the 2014 incident involving his former girlfriend, Nicole Holder, in Charlotte, North Carolina, when he was a member of the Carolina Panthers, and denied he has ever hit her. This is what he said.
I've never put my hand on anyone in my whole entire life. No, sir. That's just not how we raised. It's, as you can tell, like I said, again, it's the Bible Belt. It's just something that's, I won't even say frowned upon. It's non-existent in most Southern homes.
You say you did nothing wrong, you're innocent, and yet the pictures of her that surfaced would seem to suggest a woman who had had some type of physical contact. How do you explain that?
I will stop you there and say that I didn't do anything wrong. You know, that situation occurred and that situation was handled, but saying that I did nothing wrong is a stretch, but saying that I am innocent is correct. Yes, sir.
Did you ever put your hands on her?
No, sir.
Never?
No, sir.
After his comments were aired on ESPN, Hardy was called out by former Panthers teammate Steve Smith Sr. on Twitter, quote, "So I guess she tripped on the carpet or something." Because, end quote. And if you saw the pictures, you could tell that, I mean, he did hit her. It's just, he did. I mean, she's all bruised up. And on Tuesday, yesterday, she issued a statement, quote, "I've worked very hard to distance myself from the media. I've relocated twice. I've changed my phone number more times than I can remember. I've even considered legally changing my name. In 4 weeks, I will be graduating from college with a bachelor's degree in operations management. My focus is on finding a job which has had its own unique challenges because of the news coverage related to my name. I'm trying to move forward with my life, and I am asking the media to respect my privacy and wishes." End quote. Well, we all know she got paid off, and that's why Greg Hardy was never convicted. Or he was convicted of charges of domestic violence in 2014 in a bench trial by a judge. He appealed, seeking a jury trial, but the case was thrown out in February 2015 when Holder stopped cooperating with authorities. AKA, she was paid off by Greg Hardy, so this could all just magically go away. Hardy filed a petition last year in North Carolina to have his domestic violence charges expunged from his record. Yeah. Yep. The fact that he already got signed before Ray Rice did is incredible. If he gets another job again before Ray Rice, that's incredible. It's stupid. Greg Hardy shouldn't play. It's that simple. He should not be playing in the NFL. And I think everybody's taking a stance on it that no one's going to sign him. The Browns haven't even offered him. That's when you know it's bad. If the Browns don't want you, you know it's bad. You know it's really bad. And they don't want him. And I don't blame them. I don't want him either. It's dumb. And I'm glad Steve Smith Sr. said something about it. Let's move on to the NBA. Just a quick, we'll just go through it pretty quickly here. Let's see. Los Angeles Lakers coach Byron Scott clarified his decision to bench forward Nick Young for the past 11 games on Monday. He said, quote, "It has everything to do with basketball," end quote, as well as Young's not being mentally present with the team given the recent drama in his personal life. Quote, "It has nothing to do with the chemistry. It has everything to do with just basketball. Right now, I know what he's going through, and I know it's hard on him. But he's not here with us mentally, and there's no need for me to put him out there on the floor," end quote. So, and it's just been a bad year all around, even before the Iggy incident with D'Angelo Russell. I mean, he sucked this year, basically. He's posted career lows in points with 7.3, field goal percentage, 0.339, three-point percentage, 0.325, and player efficiency rating, 9.2. And even before the incident, the video incident, Young and teammate Jordan Clarkson were dealing with an harassment claim by Alex Jones and her 68-year-old mother on March 20th in Hollywood. So he's just had a terrible 2015-16 year. It's just been bad for this guy. And it might get worse if Iggy divorces him. Ouch. The 10-member class of 2016 Hall of Fame will be announced or it has been announced, and they will be inducted on September 9th. Some of the big names include Allen Iverson, Tom Izzo, Yao Ming, and Shaquille O'Neal. They're all going to be in the class of 2016, which is awesome. Love to see that. Duke freshman Brandon Ingram announced Monday that he's going to enter the 2016 NBA draft. The forward averaged 17.3 points per game in his only season for the Duke Blue Devils. And he did a great goodbye letter on Players Tribune. I'll put the link in the description. It's a good read. Really good job by him. And ESPN's Chad Ford has Ingram being selected by the Los Angeles Lakers with the number 2 overall pick in his latest mock draft. So I hope. I was all on Buddy Field, and last week in the Final Four, when he decided not to show up and that he's too afraid to play on big stages, well, I got concerned. I said, you know what? If he's available in the second round, we'll pick him up. If not, it's fine. I want Brandon Ingram. This guy is good. This guy is really good. And I hope he comes to the Los Angeles Lakers because guess what? We need help. Lots of it. And now Golden State, if they want to get that record, they're going to need a little bit of help too. That's because they lost last night, 124-117, overtime loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves on Tuesday night. Now, Warriors forward Draymond Green conceded the team had at least got a bit distracted by the possibility of winning 73 games and said the Warriors are ready for the regular season to be over with. Now, asked whether the Warriors had gotten caught up in the hype of possibly setting an NBA record for wins in a season, Green responded, quote, honestly, yes. Then he corrected, I wouldn't necessarily say caught up in the hype. Now, Green also said that the Warriors are ready for this particular segment of the season to finish. Now, to beat the 95-96 Chicago Bulls record of 72 wins, the Warriors will have to win all of their remaining 4 games to get to 73. And Golden State's next game is against the San Antonio Spurs on Thursday in Oakland. So at least it is a home game for them, but they will have to play the Spurs. And they have to play them again, I don't know the actual date of that game, in San Antonio. So 2 of their next 4 games are against the Spurs. 1 home, 1 away. Dun, dun, dun. And if the Spurs, and let's say that Warriors are winning winning a few games, and the Spurs kind of want to keep that home record alive, they might play. Tony Parker said he doesn't know if Popovich really wants to rest us anymore. Who knows? We'll see. Now, Tuesday night's loss for the Warriors was their second in the past 3 games and their second loss at home after Friday's defeat to the Boston Celtics that ended their 54-game home winning streak in the regular season. So, Golden State kind of falling apart here. But that's it for today's show. I hope you guys enjoyed. Now, Kris Jenkins obviously won the national championship for Villanova. An interesting story about him and his stepbrother, basically, who's on North Carolina's side, who was playing for North Carolina. It's an interesting story. Go check that out on ESPN and Sports Illustrated. Again, Kris Jenkins wins the national championship for Villanova, 77-74. An amazing game it was. I obviously did not win my bracket at work. I had Oklahoma losing in the championship game, and they lost terribly to Villanova in the Final Four. So, but I'm glad Villanova won. I've always liked Villanova. I thought this game was on Thursday. I did not know it was on Monday. It makes sense that it was on Monday because of traveling and scheduling stuff. So I was planning on doing a show, but it's okay. It's all good. Villanova wins it. Glad Villanova won. Don't start clicking on those articles about too early top 25 crap. That's just ridiculous that's already out there. Someone's putting that out there. But thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you did, be sure to hit that like button. Share it with your friends and family. If you're listening to iTunes, be sure to give it a rating so we can get this up in the popularity section. That'd be good. Give it a rating. Give it a review. If you have any questions, always hit me up on Twitter at Short Sports Show. I'll be more than happy to answer them and retweet it out. No worries. I love to. Major League Baseball season has started. The Dodgers an impressive 2-0, 13-0 victory in the first game, and then 5-0 or 3-0 in the second game against the Padres. Back-to-back shutouts. Awesome start to the season. I'm very excited. Mariners, they won. Mariners and Dodgers, those are my 2 teams. Mariners are 1-1, but again, thank you guys so much for listening and watching on YouTube. As always, God first, God bless, and I will see you guys next Wednesday. I'm out. Peace.
Forever. I'ma do this here forever. Forever. I'ma do this here forever. Forever. I'ma do this here forever. Forever. I'ma do this here forever.
I done came way too far for me to stop it now. I done worked way too hard just to drop it now. We came so